they're makeup artists. It's got the word art in there.
Yeah.
And it's like if you were a fine artist, and you were just like in your studio and, you're painting a bowl of fruit with like an acrylic or something,
right.
and you spent all morning working on it. And right when you finish, some black guy with a huge dick just comes all over your painting. Like, wouldn't that piss you off?
Yeah.
I mean, you'd be confused.
Yeah.
For sure, you'd be confused. But then you'd be angry, right? And it's no different. And
right.
the audience sometimes just goes, what the fuck? Yeah.
And then you go, hey, my cat.
Anyway, I think he's a person.
All right, I got you.
Was that a good example of a gross joke?
I'll never forget that example.
And it's also the kind of joke that people can laugh really hard at or just go like, ugh, what the fuck are you talking about, joke? Well, you guys think it's funny, right? Yeah. Guy breaks into the studio, just beats off all of it. Just blows a load all over your acrylic
bowl.
paint. Got a
fruit
fruit
bowl, for Christ's sake.
Well, it's not the bowl, it's the painting.
I
of
know,
the bowl,
that's what I'm saying.
It's
on the painting.
But you couldn't tell the difference.
No.
That
and there's
good.
a certain, and then it.
Key to that joke, you go, you'd be angry. You'd be confused, but you'd be angry. First confused, later anger sets in.
Oh, God.
Giacomo?
Hey, what's up, Ace? Stromer,
Hey,
thank you
man.
for taking my call.
Chicago. Hey,
There
man,
he
I'm
is.
coming out to Chicago this week.
I know it, and I'm going to try and see you guys, but they have the conference for the White Sox that day, and my kid really wants to go, so if
But
I
that's
can,
that
I will
day.
definitely try and be
I'm going to
there.
be performing that night.
Yeah.
Come
Bring
on.
the
then.
kid
Right.
at night. Come on.
Yeah. All right. Well, go ahead.
I'll do what I can. I appreciate it.
All right.
So in my garage, I have a 10-foot ceiling, and it's already got a skin coat of plaster. It's built in '67, and back then they did like a little trowel type finish. But over the years, poking holes or whatever, you could never get that to match. So I wanted to finish it.
Is it over
And
button? Is it over
Go
button?
ahead, I'm sorry.
Button board?
It's the first style of drywall from what I was told.
Oh, so
where it's a skin coat of plaster. It's not lath and plaster, but it's
that's
two coats
button.
of
That's
drywall
button board.
and
Yeah,
skin coat.
that's button board.
Yeah.
I think.
Okay, all right. I'm not familiar with that. So I want to finish over it, and with it being a 10-foot ceiling, I've seen some options with kind of, it looks like a reclaimed wood paneling, which looks great, but then I'm going to be ripping it down, and then I have to do something with the seams between the 2-foot and the 8-foot panel. So another option is that corrugated metal. I was thinking of using as like a wainscot for the first 3 feet, and then put a trim piece, and then that paneling that I'm referring to above that. I've never worked with that, though, so I'm a little intimidated by it. You got any experience or any other suggestions?
All right. So are we talking about putting something on the ceiling or doing a wainscot?
I'm covering the existing wall, so it's a wainscot with the metal is option A, and then above the wainscot, covering that existing, what did you say it was called?
Button board.
Button board?
Yeah.
Yeah, covering the button board with like a paneling. Just
Okay.
because it's old and been damaged, and when they try to touch it up, it just never matches.
All right. Well, there's lots of paneling and lots of paneling choices now. Wainscot, like when people do, I don't know about the corrugated wainscot.
Corrugated metal.
Yeah, I would see if I could find the right size and
Right.
not get a nibbler out and try to cut up. You know, I think
42 inches is normal height. So
Well, the thing about the corrugated stuff is it comes long and narrow.
right,
So
it's like 3 feet or 2.5 feet.
Yeah,
I think.
Right, so it's relatively inexpensive to do the span that I need to do.
it is, but you want it running right to left. The corrugated stuff, you want it running long ways,
well, that
not
would
up
work.
and down.
Yeah.
Okay,
That would work.
well, that's pretty easy to do as long as you get. You gotta put a chair rail on top of it, right? You gotta
Correct.
kind of like cap it on top, and the paneling is pretty straightforward. I mean, you could put it up with some liquid nails or some shit on the back or mastic on the back, and just pop in a couple of brad nails, here and there,
Right.
just kind of keep it stuck.
And you could use that, the corrugated roofing. Is that what you're talking about? Because it's pretty inexpensive at the big box store, and it would.
It is. It's a big box item. I'm assuming they use it for roofing, but I have seen it.
Yeah, that's right.
In this application,
and it may be
more and more often.
It may be a little heavy to not put a couple of screws with washers to hold it in place. So. Beware.
And that's going to be against the floor, so it'll have, it'll be kind of holding its own weight. You're just going to kind of tack it to the wall.
Yeah, and I would definitely pre-drill and then get sheet metal screws with the rubberized washers, and they sell them so they're all silver and they're rubberized, and that'd probably be an easy way to install it. But make sure that you know exactly where your studs are, and also make sure that you make your pattern completely parallel. Otherwise, it's going to read, and you'll see it'll look terrible. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And, paneling, you have a table saw. Do you have some way to rip up the paneling when you need to cut it long ways?
That I would have to rent. I do have some tools, but that's not one of them.
Why don't you buy yourself a little one?
A couple $100, that's it for a nice saw.
For a table saw?
Yeah.
I don't know what other applications I would use it where it would be worth the investment.
Well, it's
or
not.
Would it? I don't know.
You get to be an American with a table saw, so you can join an elite fraternity.
Sure. It's probably less if you buy it than rent it too. I would imagine a couple of days you're going to use it's $300 maybe for the table saw. Like a DeWalt makes a nice table saw.
I just got a DeWalt table saw.
It's nice,
I mean,
right?
Not the contractor size
one.
For
rough stuff, it's fine, right?
Yeah.
Just to do something like this, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, they worked the fence out on those things.
Yeah,
now.
they did. You're right. It's nice.
The fence always used to be.
You'd have to put a framing square on it and try and tighten it where it wouldn't move.
And when you'd suck it down, the end would always suck in and it'd pinch shit off, and you'd end up just you couldn't even use the calibrated arm. You'd have to just put a tape measure on the back of the blade and put a tape measure on the front of the blade, and then put a C-clamp on the back. It was always a fucking disaster.
That dial on the DeWalt fence is actually really accurate, don't you think? I like it.
I haven't even I got it. What the fuck was I doing? Oh, you know what I was doing with it? Yeah. I had these two cabinets that were like, I don't want to call them doghouse type cabinets in my kitchen, and when I raised the counter half inch, I had to pull the doors off and take a half inch off them.
Oh, okay.
Because the counter height was higher now.
Right.
So I just I'd been dealing with that little crappy bent, Craftsman table saw with the bad fence and the whatever. I mean, literally hasn't changed since 1983 kind of thing. And I just said, fuck it, I'm getting a DeWalt that's got a fence that locks in, that's calibrated, where I can figure it out.
Did you get the stand, the handheld stand?
I didn't get the wheel. I didn't get the...
Not the wheel one, the one that looks like an old... Remember those old projector screens that you pull up and click
I didn't get that one.
Yeah.
Well, it's barely out of the box. I haven't fucked around with it yet. But I
like the one that I'm talking about. I have it. It's great. Solid. 4 legs come out easy and they lock.
Yeah, and listen, y'all, when people are like, "Oh, should I get a half-inch drill motor? You don't be the person that just goes, I'm only going to use it for this one thing, so it doesn't seem like a good idea to buy it." It's like, I don't know, it's like buying a suit, Well, I'm only going to wear it twice a year. It's like, all right, but have a suit.
Right. And get a suit that's timeless and you can wear it for 25 years.
You're a dude. Have a table saw and have a suit.
Have a Navy blazer.
Right? And underneath that suit, you should wear Tommy John.
Oh, that is a transition, baby doll.
I'm wearing mine right now. Oh, man, they are the best. Proprietary fabrics that perform like nothing you've ever worn before. No wedgie guarantee. Comfortable stay-put waistbands. Luxurious, soft, feather-light, moisture-wicking, breathable fabrics designed to move with you. No bunching and no riding up. Jeez, which ones am I wearing now? I was wearing my holiday print.
How dare you? Outside of a holiday, you put those on?
I gotta check.
All right, let's take a look.
I'm wearing my Tommy John T-shirt, by the way.
All right, let's see. Jesus.
Yeah.
Those look like the Candyland board game pattern, actually.
They are the best, man.
And you can say to your babies, come to Candyland.
Come to Candyland. So, Tommy John, by the way, you can now get them you can shop in over 1,200 retail locations across the country, including Nordstrom stores as well. Tommy John, best pair you'll ever wear, or it's free guaranteed. Right, Matt?
That's right. Heard at TommyJohn.com/Adam for 20% off your first order. That's TommyJohn.com/Adam for 20% off. TommyJohn.com/Adam. All
right. We have a vid question.
Yes, we do. And as always, we would love for you to email your video questions to us, aceonthehouse@adamcarolla.com. Go to aceontheroof.com if you want to see them. And this first video question comes to us from Dan in San Fran.
Hey, Ace, Eric, get it on. I just busted out a bunch of tile in my powder room and we're planning to put down a new
Wonderboard
set of tiles. But I was wondering about what's going on underneath. As you can see, I've got some thin set here, and then there's some what appears to be fiberglass mesh, and then we have a layer of mortar, and then there's actually more fiberglass mesh underneath that.
Pause it for a second. So he's mistaking cement board for fiberglass mesh, mortar, and fiberglass mesh,
Correct.
Which is how you would make a piece of Wonderboard.
Correct.
Sorry, continue.
I think this might be tar paper, and then underneath that, there's even more paper. I'm just wondering, do I take all this out, or should I try to leave this paper here and then go up from there? What would you guys use for underlayment for the new job? I've heard that the Dietrich system is pretty easy to do. I'm not terribly handy, but I'm hopeful that it's straightforward. So any recommendations you guys have would be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
What system? Is he like a Schluter kind of thing?
It's probably the lightweight foam board stuff. Have you seen it?
No.
I think it's that he's talking about. It literally weighs like the weight of styrofoam, but it's compressed enough where it can be used on walls or floors.
High density. Wow, closed cell.
But for this gentleman, he's got to get it.
He's not on a slab.
Everything's
obviously.
coming up. Yeah, it's a raised foundation with a wood subfloor. Get under it with a shovel, flat shovel, and get all of it off. Take the tar paper.
What's wrong with leaving the tar paper?
Because he's going to rip it when he's demoing it anyway.
All right, so you want to lay down some new felt?
Yeah, I'd put down some new felt, and
how many pounds?
Well, you just use the craft paper. It's fine.
Okay.
If you're just going to do board again, it's fine.
It always strikes me as a little weird, which is the Wonder Board, at least to my knowledge, always seems to be about a half-inch thick.
Yeah.
And screwing down the Wonder Board onto a subfloor, a raised foundation, especially if the house was built in the 40s or something, and then putting the tile on that doesn't feel like enough base.
Right.
It feels like there's too much flex.
Yes. If it's and you can tell to your point, if it's moving by just walking on it and seeing if the floor is moving.
What I would do, I'll tell you a couple of things. Look, I don't like to make it about myself.
No, but take your time.
Can I tell you this?
I hope you do.
All right. I had this situation where there was just too much flex in the old floor. Yeah. Sometimes people, subflooring, the subflooring we use today, I'm using more, it's inch and an eighth.
Yeah.
Sturdy, whatever. Subfloor, whatever, tongue and groove, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Back in the day, they'd use 1x6, just nailed in with just a common head nail.
They all move. They all
flex.
So
you step on it, you step in the middle of a 1x6 and it flexes. It's got a couple of common head 6-penny nails holding it down.
Right.
So this is a situation. So first things first, strip it all off, see what you got.
Right.
You got plywood, you got 1x6, you got whatever. Secondly, get some goddamn screws going instead of nails in that sub. Third, and I've done this, I've taken the inch and an eighth sturdy floor, ripped it into 14 and a half or whatever we'll put up in the bay, gone underneath the house.
Ooh, sucked it like a sandwich.
Pushed it up and put 2x4 ledgers up next to it, beefing up.
Oh, that's good. Between the framing members.
Not only am I beefing up the floor joists, which are only 2x6 in some cases.
So now you're creating a square, essentially.
I'm essentially taking a modern-day subfloor. You could do it with 3/4 ply or OSB, but the sturdy floor that's 1 1/8 inch, and you push it up tight. And then when you put your rails on, you take your 2x4 rails, and you just angle the screws up so it kind of sucks it up there. You could even slather on some